I'm here in Seattle at the International Motorcycle Show with Robert. And Robert is a show spokesperson, and he's got his finger on the pulse of the motorcycle industry. So this is the 28th year that this show's been happening. How has this show evolved?
You know, over 28 years, it's pulled in more and more manufacturers. We started out with about 6 manufacturers, and the tour was only about 6 shows long. It's just expanded along with the industry. You know, 28 years ago, the motorcycle industry was a very different place. And in the past just few years, decade and a half or so, the growth in motorcycling has been huge. That's really how the show has expanded. You're seeing more OEMs out there participating in the show. As you know, look across the floor here, there's definitely more than 6. You know, we've got our Hondas, and all the Japanese brands are here, and Harley-Davidson's here. And we're starting to see a lot of new brands, European brands coming in, like Aprilia, Piaggio, Asian brands like Kymco really putting a stamp in. And 28 years ago, some brands didn't even exist. Victory Motorcycles with the Polaris Group, they didn't even exist. They're only 10 years old this year. So as the industry has expanded and changed, the show has absolutely kept pace with that.
And I've noticed that there's a lot of new riders coming to the show. Has that been something that the show has actually tried to attract?
Well, of course, you know, when you offer basically like one-stop shopping, if you will, to get to come in and under the one roof see so many different motorcycles and have an opportunity to talk to product experts who are there to talk about their motorcycles, not necessarily ask you to pull a checkbook out of your pocket, you know. That's the thing that's really exciting for beginning riders. So the reputation for the show has grown in that direction, and we have facilitated more of that. In our Welcome Center, we have product experts that they don't even have a motorcycle logo on them. You know, they're just sort of generic motorcycle guys, for lack of a better term. And what they like to do is answer the questions. I'm new into riding. This is the kind of area I ride in. This is the kind of riding I think I'm going to be doing. And they can go sort of through the list and say, well, you might be interested in this Kawasaki, this Yamaha, you know, this Ducati may suit you perfectly, you know, and really open some options that people didn't expect.
So what about women riders? Are they trying to draw women riders into this market?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing more women riders just come into the industry. I'd say, I mean, almost organically, but we're starting to see a lot of manufacturers putting together programs to draw more female riders in. And you're seeing that not only in the activities that they have on the floor. For instance, you know, Harley-Davidson came out with a new line of women's-only motorcycle helmets. So there's always been, you know, fashion gear, but we're starting to see a lot more safety gear specifically engineered for the female rider out there. Manufacturers now are not only saying that, you know, here's a motorcycle that is, you know, a female-friendly bike, but they're actually engineering now motorcycle. Instead of it just being happenstance, they're saying, here's how we're going to adapt our motorcycle to fit the female body form, which is a different thing altogether, you know. And we're seeing some really exciting motorcycles out there. So there's definitely a lot more female ridership.
So car sales have been kind of flat this year. How about motorcycle sales?
You know, motorcycle sales have definitely been hit by the global financial crisis. There's no doubt about that. In a lot of parts of the world, motorcycle is a transportation necessity. In the United States, it tends to be more of a luxury option or, you know, sort of like a lifestyle choice to get to do that. But as things are getting tighter money-wise, we're seeing a lot of people turn to two wheels in much the same way they have been in Europe and in Asia. And two wheels for the simple sense of economy, for parking issues, for fuel economy, and just the ability to move around quickly and efficiently. And that's really what the motorcycle offers. Scooter sales are way up. And smaller displacement motorcycles, and I'll say relatively sub 650 cc sport bikes and maybe sub 1000 cc cruisers in those sort of general terms. We're seeing a lot of interest in those categories because those bikes are not expensive to buy into. They're just as exciting to ride for a new rider, and you know, it's fun. We can't forget that, you know, motorcycling is fun.
So a few years ago, the sort of big technology shift was to put fuel injection on dirt bikes. What is the big technology shift now?
We're starting to see a lot of things like ABS becoming a lot more standard on motor. Every BMW made now has ABS on it, for instance. There are off-road units, you can flick that ABS off, you know, but we're seeing a lot of that. Towards the higher end of the spectrum, back over at Ducati, we're seeing traction control available on the new 1198S, and it was available last year on the 1098R, but that was a $40,000 sort of limited edition homologation bike. A year later, we've got a bike that is actually making more horsepower than that, more torque, but comes with the traction control from the more expensive motorcycle, but it's only $22,000.
Is that something that's been developed on the racetrack and applied to the consumer market, or is it specifically made for the consumer market?
No, you're definitely seeing racetrack technology coming into the consumer market, particularly in the superbike side of things. The Ducati, it's a dialable traction control from completely off to fairly strong, to where the bike doesn't accelerate as fast off the corner for wet conditions, things like that. The Formula One and the MotoGP racing technology is trickling down into the consumer market in some pretty amazing ways. We're seeing, the Harley-Davidson, the new Harley-Davidson Touring Series is a throttle by wire. It doesn't even have a cable going to the fuel injection system anymore. It's all electronic. And Yamaha has stepper motors inside the intake system that change the length of the intake ports, as well as exhaust system changes. So it's a pretty exciting thing to see that technology come to the masses at amazing prices when you look at the kind of tech you're getting. I've got 6 bikes at home, and motorcycles to me are kind of like shoes. You don't have just one pair of shoes. You got your hiking boots, and you've got your formal shoes, and you've got you got your riding boots, if you will. And if I had to knock down to just one motorcycle, it would be a dual-purpose bike. I think you have so much fun. They're inexpensive. They're lightweight, and it's just exciting to see the world that you figure only like 2% of America's got the chance to see.
Right, and you don't have to haul a dual sport anywhere, do you?
That's right. They're a lot of fun to ride, and if you do decide to put it in the back of a truck or anything like that, they're just super lightweight, and we're seeing that trend happening in sales. We're seeing more and modern dual sport bikes being put into the market, and it's a pretty exciting world. So for folks who haven't tried dual sport riding, it really is a lot of fun. It's a lot of excitement. It's a great way to re-energize your interest in motorcycling if you've been out for a while.
Right on. So anything you'd like to finish with?
Well, we definitely encourage people to come into the international motorcycle shows and engage the product experts. I can't stress enough that there are people here in each one of the OEM booths that are manufacturers' reps. It's not their job to sell you a motorcycle. It's their job to explain the benefits of a particular bike. And it's just such a great opportunity to walk around, visit with all these different folks, and really broaden your horizons for motorcycling. And that goes if you're an expert level rider all the way to an absolute neophyte, never even threw my leg over the bike. And there's information in the show for the entire family to come out and ride.
Right on. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us. Absolutely.